Hello, good morning. Hi, Julia. Thanks for the subscription. If you have a time, you can join now. Say good morning, everyone, and welcome to my another subscriber lessons. It's all about IELTS speaking and writing sessions. It's Wednesday morning here in the UK, and our local time is 6:24 a.m. And as you can see, we are with the subscriber lesson. Hello, Shara. Walaikum salam. How are you doing today? I'm quite good. I've got your email just, I think, 20 minutes ago. So I'll check it and send it later as soon as possible. No, yes, I've invited the person, but I don't know whether the person is free to join or not. It may be on trial basis. Have you already renewed your subscription, Shariar? Okay. Which day is the last day for you for this current subscription? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Did you notice that my first question was, how are you doing today? And what was your answer? No. How are you doing today? That was my first question. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But if you go through according to IELTS pattern, it should be I'm doing well or I'm doing fine. Please remember, it's very important in IELTS exam to follow the same pattern the examiner has used in questioning. Hello, Chiki. Welcome. Has Chiki joined? Oh, no, I can't see her anymore. Okay. Last week we discussed about I speaking test 2, right? Sharia? We'll discuss today 2 and 3, and my plan is from tomorrow we'll give some instructions about writing. Okay, we'll wait a little bit because I always start a few minutes earlier so that everyone gets the notification and they can join me. Hello, Smeet, welcome. I can see Chiki's here. If you're free, you may join Chiki. Okay. Any questions from those last sessions? Hello, Chiki. Welcome. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you find anything? Uh, if you ever understand the rules, it will be easier for you. Which one you think is a bit challenging? Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Both are in present tense. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um. Okay. Um. Possibly not. All right. Okay. Let's welcome Chiki. Are you there? I'm quite good. Thanks for the question. How about you? Um. Today we're going to talk as Sharir has a question about conditional. Let's describe a conditional a little bit. Okay. So I'm trying to find out my conditional. Sometimes, Okay. So you're confused with second conditional and third conditional, right, Sharir? Okay. Right. So before we describe conditional, I'd like to ask you one simple question. Do you know how to use could and would, these two modal verbs? Sharia or Chiki? Mm-hmm. Possibility, that's right. Would you mind giving? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. So the first use of could is possibility. Okay. Like as you said, I could have practiced more, but I didn't. Okay. Like if you try, it could have been done. This is a conditional, obviously. Like you could cause an accident if you drive recklessly. Okay. Second use of could is past ability. Like I could run 10 miles at a time when I was 12 years old. I could ride a bike when I was 7 years old. For example, you can say, hey, I could, swim the river when I was a young boy. Okay. And the third example of, yeah, is kind of, yeah, it's kind of similar. So, Chiki, could you please give an example like past ability with could?
Okay, sir. I was like, okay, uh,
Mm-hmm. Go on.
it's related to the food.
Could, yeah, as a
Uh,
past ability.
uh, I could,
Mm,
okay, I could drink tea when I was like 5 years old.
right. Good example. Mm-hmm. Another example, um, Sharia. Yes, past ability. Mm-hmm. Good example, though. Okay, so let's. Yes. Okay, for the your confusions are with second and third conditionals, right? Okay. Chiki, do you know anything about conditionals?
No, sir. It might be the condition given. But yeah, it's not like that much strongly as it is.
Okay. Sharia, do you remember the basic conception of second conditional? Okay, we are going to describe in a moment. I'm going to share the screen so that. Okay, so conditional sentences are those when we like to express some situation just out of our imagination or possibly what could be done or what could happen. Okay, so these are sometimes called subjunctive mood in a different way. And do you know the meaning of infinitive in grammar? Hmm.
I'm not able to hear you clearly.
You can't hear me, Chiki?
So, like your voice breaking, I'm not able to hear.
You can hear me, but Chiki can't hear me. Okay, okay. So I'm going to share the page in a moment. One moment, please. Huh? Chiki, can you hear me now? Okay, I think we lost her. Hello, Madhu, welcome. All right, let me bring him. I've invited you, Madhu. Can you see the screen? Okay. The second conditional sentence. Uh, Madhu, welcome and thanks for your subscription. Possibilities a trial basis. You know, the problem is when people subscribe to a trial basis, they don't want to join. I've noticed that many people subscribed as a trial basis because it's a free lesson, and sometimes they think that what am I going to learn with this free lesson? Well, let's join it as a free learning. Okay, second conditional sentence is used to imagine present or future situations that are impossible or unlikely in reality. What it means is that we always describe in a past mood, okay, in second conditional to describe something could happen either in the future or in the present. Okay, remember that this is the very important to understand. That's why you're confused second and third conditional. Whereas, yeah, the possible action that you could imagine that could happen either present or future. But for the third conditional, it should be always happening in the past. That is the one of the amazing point to distinguish, which is why very often many of our learners get confused easily. Why and how you can understand. Once again, second conditional always describes a situation, an imaginary situation that could happen something in present or future. Okay, so uh, hang on a second. I'm going to so so you see the formula is if subject, not past perfect. Oh, I just wrote in a wrong place possibly. No, this is not the second conditional. This is third conditional. I just mixed it up possibly. Okay, the formula is, let's go on. Yeah, what is it? Hang on a second. Let me go there. Where is number one? Where we started describing from here. These are all third conditional. Okay, let's discuss fresh describer. Second conditional. Okay, so if past simple, plus would infinitive, subject would plus infinitive. I'm making it bigger. So the basic point of a second conditional is something could happen either in the present or the future, not in the past. Remember that. Second conditional. This is the basic, formula of making second conditionals. Let me give for third. Yeah, third conditional. If an imaginary situation that could always happen in the past, not in the present or future. Okay, so the second describing point here is infinity. What do you understand by infinity? Infinity is the root form of the verb without s or es. Root form or the main form, sometimes it is called, of the verbs. And so a great example is that it is not only would, it could be could as well. Okay, so let me give some examples so that it's easier for you. If I were you, I would study hard. Okay, remember that if you like, if you write like this, we have to use comma. If past simple, then subject would or could. I would or I could, both are correct. But if you write like the from the backward to forward, like that, I would. Exactly. Exactly. This is very important. If you don't put a comma in IELTS exam, your examiner is not going to give you full marks because literally that's a mistake. Missing a punctuation in a sentence. So I could study hard if I were you. Okay. So is that clear? Hello, Riaz. Welcome. It is happening in the past. Sorry, it's happening in the present. Uh, okay, remember one second. Yes, I could study hard. That means uh, I can study more. Okay. If you break it, I could study hard, then it gives an idea from the past. But if you think like that, if I were you, I could or I would study hard. Riaz, welcome. I have invited you. I don't know whether he is able to join me or not. Okay, I think you get confused about the meaning when you go through the meaning. Okay, remember then in second conditional, it is an imaginary situation that could have influenced your present or future activities. Okay, this meaning of this sentence is that if I were you, I could study hard. Like if I am like you, then I can study more. It means in plain and simple English. Because I'm not like you, that's I'm not studying. Okay. Uh, exactly, and it has a great impact on writing as well as speaking. Riaz, welcome again. I have invited you. I don't know wh- why you're not able to join me. Okay, I'm writing another sentence. Like if I won a lottery, I would buy a big house. Did you see the meaning of the sentence? Like if you're a winner, you can buy. It means that is a yes, yes. And if you remember, when we use sometimes would and could and future possibility, like, hey, would you mind going with me? You see, that's why I asked you if you do understand these two modal verbs, could and would, as a request or suggestion. Would you mind closing the window? You see this pattern? Would you mind closing the window? That means that you're requesting the person to close the window at the present. Or would you mind coming tomorrow on time? Go on. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Riaz, Madhu, Julia, I have invited all of you. I don't know the reason why you guys are not able to join me. Possibly your network is not strong, or maybe you can restart to join me. Okay. Now look at this situation. If I won the lottery, I would buy a big house. It means that if I become a winner of the lucky lottery of say £1 million, I can buy property, a big house. So this is the main impact. Okay, second conditional always speaks about the imaginary situation that could happen either in the present form or in the future form. Now, before it's that's why I asked you once again. I'm repeating because it's very important to understand the modal verb could and would. If you understand the use of could and would properly, then second and third conditional will be much easier for you. Okay. Now look at this example. If I won, remember WS is one, the sound, not own, yeah? One, same as ON one, similar sound. If I won the lottery, I would buy a big house. Or I would buy a big house if I won the lottery. Is that clear, Sharia? Okay. Can you please give me another example of second conditional so that I understand that it's clear to you? Do you remember I always ask this question in the speaking task 3? In speaking task 3, remember, sorry, I'm just interrupting you. There would be a question possibly depending on second or third conditional, but most of the cases it is second conditionals. Like if you were the prime minister of your country, what three things you would resolve, resolve. Sorry, what three things would you resolve? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then before that, sorry, Sharia, I'm just yes. You see, what three things you'd resolve? That means what problems are you going to solve? Uh, Sharia, remember that a prime minister doesn't do anything at all. It is the prime minister's cabinet, workforce, human resources that do the work for the prime minister. So you can't just simply say like this that I would do this. You could say before, just use the same pattern. Like if I were the prime minister of my country, I would like to resolve three important problems for our country. Then you give a bullet point. Number one, this. Number two, this. Number three. Yeah. Or firstly, secondly, thirdly. Remember that. And IELTS speaking, it is very important to maintain the sequence. You know, we call it coherence, step by step. So you can say such as one, two, three, or for examples, one, two, three, or firstly, secondly, thirdly, or firstly, secondly, lastly. Then you should add this sentence because I'm the prime minister of my country. Obviously, I can't do these things. I have to ask my relevant authority, my workforce, human resource. Like you can ask your cabinet, the person who is in charge. Say, if you want to develop something from, say, roads and highways, obviously you have to go. You have to ask your communication minister and road and transport authority. Yes. So remember that when you answer something, it should be obviously logical, though it is a conditional or imaginative situation. And this is the main impact of IELTS speaking. Remember that the examiner is not going to assess your quality of speaking, of grammar, also logical steps if you're following or not. Now, is it clear, second conditional, Sharia? Okay, remember, second condition, once again, I'm repeating, it always describes something could be done in present or future. Okay, to answer this question, always use the same pattern when you're answering. Then bullet point it. Number one, two, because three things, yeah? You could, you can, possibly, or you can say firstly, secondly, thirdly. anyway, it should maintain the, the steps you are describing. Now let me give you two more examples so that it is easier for you. Okay, like if I studied well, I would do better in my, present situation or in my university. Did you see this possibility? Mm-hmm. Yes, this is a present situation or maybe future situation. It can be both. I'm writing, yeah. If I studied well, I would do better in my universities. So what it means now, you can see that because I didn't study well, that's why I'm not doing better. Okay, or maybe I would not do. Okay, could you please give me an example from your side? By the way, conditional is a part of advanced grammar. Okay, and that's why in IELTS exam there would be always a question in your speaking section, either in task 3 or maybe sometime task 2, depending on the examiner's mood. And one question must be present, past, and future. Sure. Right. Good example. I would do better. Bravo. Okay, so let me give you another example. Uh, like we could join this lesson more often if you, you know, if you would, if I would offer more often. Okay, so it is like you could join these lessons more often if I would offer more frequently. Sorry, I do not use the same words twice. Yeah, let me give you the. If I would conduct more lessons, you could join more frequently. Did you see this one? This is in future. If I would conduct more lessons, you could join more frequently. Past, past simple, yeah. And could join is infinity. Remember the basic rule. The pattern is if past simple, subject would, could, infinity. Clear? Do you need any more example? Okay. Uh, should we go to third conditions? And there is another conditional sentence which is called mixed. That mixed condition is a bit difficult, honestly. But if you understand second and third, then it will be easier for you to understand mixed conditionals. Okay, the third conditional is used to express the past consequence of an unrealistic situation that could happen in the past. You see, that is the main difference.
So second conditional and third conditional, they both talk about things that are unlikely or that cannot happen in reality. It is impossible in reality.
N-
They both talk about things, but second condition talks about things that could have happened in present or future, but
mm,
third conditional talks about things that could have happened past, in the past.
yes,
Am I right?
right. So the third conditional is used to express the past consequence of an unrealistic action or situation in the past. Always remember that. That's why we used the pattern. Um, Hang on a second. You see, look at this example. If I had studied harder, sorry, if I had studied harder, I would have, I'm sorry, if he had studied harder, sorry. So I'm just changing. If I had studied harder, I would have passed the exam easily. Because I didn't study harder, I couldn't pass it. It means, okay?
So as they is in past perfect, so that means they're comparing between two past actions, two
Exactly.
past actions.
And if you remember, when there are two past actions, generally the rule is that one should be past perfect, another one should be past simple.
Past simple.
Okay. So if uh, say subject plus past perfect, um, okay, and would have, could have, past participle, then subject. Again, if you remember, would or could, both may be used. Would have, and obviously after would have, could have, we have to use past participle form of the verb. Okay. All right. So once again, third conditional always describes an unrealistic or imaginary situation that could have impacted anything in the past, not present or future. Remember, this is the very big and challenging point sometimes why it is confusing.
Yes, I get that.
Like, you see, you missed a meeting in your office, for example, okay? Then your colleague Paul didn't inform you, and you said, "Hey, Paul, if you had told me about the meeting, I could have come." You see,
Okay.
that's a very simple explanation. I'm just
If you had
told me, yeah,
told me about the meeting,
yes, I could have come.
I would have come.
I would have or could have. Both are possible. Remember, would, could, both can be used.
Similar meaning.
Similar meaning, yeah.
If you had told me about, wow.
I, I would have come. Full stop, sir. Okay. And
Okay.
so, for example, another good example very often I bring, like you have an interview, job interview, you know that the interview would take place exactly 9 o'clock in the morning. You thought to give the alarm at 6 o'clock to wake up early and get ready, but your alarm didn't work at all. Okay, but so you didn't wake up, you couldn't wake up, and you missed that, your job interview. Then we express like this: if my alarm had worked well, I would not have missed my job interview.
Okay, if my alarm
Alarm
had worked,
had worked well.
my alarm had worked well. I won't have missed the
I would not have. We're making negative. I would not have missed my job interview. Okay,
missed.
missed. I would not have missed. You see the yeah, would have, could have, past participle. Always remember that. If you know this after has and have and had, we always should use the past participle from above. It doesn't matter. It is could have or would have. But as long as there is has, have, and had, we must use the past participle form of the verb. Is that clear, Sharia?
Yes, yes. Just, I think it's clear. Let me come up with an example.
Sure.
Okay. If if I had studied, if I had studied in an English medium school, if I had studied in an English medium school,
Hmm.
I would not have much difficulties. I won't have much difficulties with my English.
Look at this pattern. If I had studied in an English medium school, you have to use would have, then past participle form of verb. I would not have.
I won't have
Hmm.
faced difficulties.
Yes, face much difficulties. That's fine. Difficulties. Sorry, faced.
Faced. Okay. Okay.
Or you can say I would not have had as well, to make it more confusing. Yeah.
Okay. 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 I wouldn't have had much difficulty. Okay. Now it's more confusing. Yes, that's right.
Okay. If you use had, but it's the similar meaning. Let me bring some more examples for you so that we can practice and become a bit more confident. Okay. One moment.
Okay.
I'm making it a little bit bigger. Like he'd have got the job if he hadn't been so nervous in the interview. Look, it's a past situation. Yeah. That means he didn't get the job. He didn't get the job. You see? He became nervous in the interview board and he
So
was,
it's third conditional. If
yes.
he had not been so nervous in the interview,
Yeah, you can.
he would have got the job. Okay.
Very good. So what would you do? What would you have done if you had have been me? Okay. In simple English, what would you do if you were in my position in that situation? You didn't do anything. You become nervous or you ran away. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Please read these examples. I think it will make you more clear.
Okay. If it hadn't been snowing heavily, we would have carried on skiing. That
Hmm.
means that means it was snowing heavily and we could not ski.
It didn't snow. That means it didn't snow and we didn't go for skiing. It is two double negative. Remember that. If
Okay. If it had not been snowing heavily,
Mhm.
we would have carried on
Okay.
So it, does it mean that snowed, it snowed heavily?
No,
Or
it means that they went for skiing, but it didn't snow heavily, so they didn't do the skiing. Okay, they were skiing possibly. Look at this sentence, and it was snowing heavily. But after a short while, the heavy snowfall possibly stopped, and they couldn't carry it anymore. It could have
oh,
two meanings in the past. One, if there are more, heavily snowfall, they could have gone. Number one, or they were already skiing, but it didn't snow heavily, so they couldn't continue anymore. It could have two situations from the past.
okay, it's more confusing.
How, Sharia? If you have understood the basic concept of third conditional, remember that third conditional once again always describes that something could happen in the past. Always in the past.
Correct.
Possibilities in the
Correct.
past. And honestly speaking, Sharia, these conditional is like a cause and effect in physics theory.
Yes.
In physics, there is a theory cause and effect. Like if it could have done that, it had have done too. It's like a possibility, but in the past.
I can understand the next sentence. Like, the company would have survived if there hadn't been a recession.
Yeah, like in COVID-19, there are serious recessions. In the UK, many companies have been shut down. Small businesses were closed. You
Hmm.
see, this is a real life example. Okay, look, would you like to read the other examples, please?
Uh, would you have would you have accepted the offer if we had reduced the price?
Mm-hmm.
If we had reduced the price, would you have accepted the offer? So that means didn't reduce the price and you didn't accept the offer.
Very good. Yes, you got the point now. You see,
Okay.
that is amazing, Sharia. Next one.
If you hadn't invited me out, I would have stayed in all day. So that means you invited me out, and so that's why I stayed out, not in.
Yes, and I came with you, you can say, to the party or wherever,
Okay.
or I went with you.
She would not have given a fine if she had apologized.
Hmm.
Oh, would it be she had apologized? Oh,
She didn't haven't given you a fine. No, she's, let's say, a police officer, for example.
oh,
Okay,
okay.
for example, if,
She wouldn't have given you a fine if you had apologized. Okay.
say you're driving speedily, okay, you crossed the limit, and she stopped you, a police officer, and said, "Sir, you have crossed the limit. Look, they have got a machine to find out. The limit is 30 miles. You are driving 40 miles.
Mhm.
That's why you have been given a
So
fine."
it's saying that I didn't apologize, and that's why she gave me a fine.
Yes, very good.
Okay. If they hadn't, oh, that one, right?
One. Remember, it's a confusing word. One, not
One.
own. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I practiced it day before yesterday, but I'm still not very good at it. One and on. Yeah, it's
You know,
ONE and WON.
this first one is own. This is one. Okay. This is a confuse.
One. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
One. Okay. If they had not won that match, the club would have fired the manager.
Hmm.
So it means they won that match, and the club did not fire the manager.
Exactly.
Like they had won that match, and the club did
Did
not fire the manager.
bravo, well done. The last example.
Thank you. Like, they could have stayed here if they had not found any accommodation. So it means that they didn't stay here because they found some accommodation
Exactly in the past. Well done.
in the past.
These two words, look, one and one. Own and one, yeah. Like, are you the owner of this property? Yes, I'm the owner. One is the what is it a verb? Own? OWN? What do you think? Is it verb or adjective?
I own. Yes, I think it can be both.
It could be pronoun, it could be determiner. Okay. Also, it could be alone. Like, I live on my own, that I live alone. English word is really sometimes confusing depending on the content. Like, I'd like to have my very own apartment. That means personal.
Then at that time, it's determining that apartment. So it's adjective.
Yeah, determinants are adjective.
Adjective.
Like, I can say, hey, Shahryar, did you come by your own? That means, are you come by yourself? Did your family or friends didn't come with you?
Mm-hmm.
You say, yes, I've come by my own. That means you come alone. No one, came with you.
Okay. Can I also say that I have come on my own
Yes,
on my own? Okay.
on your own. Yeah. Also, you can use in your own time. Like, if you do something in your own time, definitely you'll study well, for example. Okay, so these are some examples. So is it clear, second and third conditionals?
Yes, sir. It's all right.
Okay, let's do quickly.
I know the differences now.
Mhm. The most of the cases, it is the meaning of those sentences, possibilities.
Yes.
Always. So, repeating quickly, second conditional describes a situation that could happen either in the present or future. Third conditional always in past,
Always in past.
always in the past,
Comparing
actually.
two actions that comparing two actions that could have happened in the past.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So we can do a little bit more in speaking. I'm going to share something, another page quickly, because though we don't have some much time. Okay, linking words in IELTS speaking. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see it.
So what does linking words mean?
These words are used for smooth transition from one thought to another.
Exactly. Like, if you're adding more information, like you say, describe an incident you saw recently. That if you are describing, if you're adding more sentence, and also as well as, another reason is that, uh, okay, then sometimes we mention time, like now, at the moment, at present, right now, these days, nowadays, in the past, before, then, at that time, years ago, when I was younger. Okay, another suggestion would be for you and all the IELTS candidates who are listening to us silently. Remember that in speaking section, you can use phrases and idioms, which we can't use in writing. Okay,
Yes, that's right. Because our writing should be more academical.
exactly. So, like long, long time ago, very often we use these expressions. Yeah, and I'm writing a moment. Yeah? Let me see if you are aware of these expressions.
Many moons ago.
Madhu,
It means a long time ago.
yes. Madhu says, "Can I speak chart?" Yes, you're welcome. If you can't join, audio or video call, you can always ask me questions. Also in the subscriber chart. So many moons ago means long time ago. So why moon is there? Like once in a blue moon, you know this expression, yeah? Once in a
Yes, I know.
blue moon, yeah?
It means I hardly see you like in that. I hardly find it
Okay.
once in a blue moon. Like it's very rare.
hmm Like, so you can use some expressions like this. Okay. Remember, the more you use the expressions and idioms, it will bring more marks. Because on a statistics, it is found that only 30% of our IELTS speakers use high standard vocab and good idioms. That's why only a few students get the higher marks, not all of them. Okay, now if you're describing something, cause and solution, like why do you think that the education rate has gone down? I guess it is because, now you're giving the example, there's maybe proper teaching method, or maybe the system that has been used in the country is not effective. Can you
So
see?
I think the main reason is
hmm
this.
Go on, read it, please.
Uh, I forgot the question. Why?
Why do you think that the education rate has gone down? Say, you're saying something. I'm just continue a part of this conversation, not the whole conversation. To give you an example.
The main reason is students nowadays are not very attentive in their classes, and also the teachers cannot uh, conduct classes in ways that will be more interesting for students. So for these reasons, the education rate is going down.
Okay, great.
So
So
it was not enough. You expected me to add more sentences.
if you want, you can. But remember that, Shariat, as you have already said for the exam once, you don't get much time to
Mhm.
answer, maximum 30 to 40 seconds. So in 30 to 40
So
seconds, you can at least tell or explain 4 to 5 sentences, complete sentences.
okay, it's for the third part, right? First
It's it's for the third part, and
third
sometimes
part.
it may
Okay.
be related to the first part as well,
hmm
because in the second part you're just describing the cue card where you don't have much chance.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, now there's other ways. I suppose the best way to deal, I reckon, the best way to solve this is, okay,
I reckon. You like this word. I
it's a
reckon.
British expression. Honestly, that's why.
Okay. So how do I pronounce it perfectly? Like
Reckon.
I reckon.
I reckon. Yeah,
Reckon.
yeah.
I
And
reckon. Okay.
and if you ever are confused about any word, please go to the dictionary and listen to it carefully and try to imitate it. That will be my
Okay.
suggestion. Don't go to the Google dictionary, please. Yeah, always
Yes,
go
I'm
to this.
following Cambridge Dictionary.
Okay,
Okay.
I reckon. Yeah, there is a short sound. I reckon. Can you hear it?
Reckon.
Reckon.
Yes, I reckon. So the letter O is silent.
Yes,
I reckon.
it's a short sound. I reckon. Like,
hmm
do you think that you can fix my car? I reckon not so.
I reckon not so.
or I reckon not.
Okay, it will take time for me to get habituated with this word because as I'm not quite uh, habituated with this word, it seems that I cannot understand the meaning sometimes while I'm saying I reckon.
I reckon means I think or I believe.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
I'll have to practice it a lot.
Yes. Remember, IELTS exam speaking task is nothing but just creating up some, logical and grammatical stories of your own. Okay. And
Okay.
be aware that examiner is not going to find out whether you're telling it a true story or not. Sometimes some
Mm-hmm.
candidates think that, oh, these are lies, and yes, but you're telling lies only for your speaking assessment. It's not the fact you're telling. You're making up a story. Okay, we've got only 17 seconds. Thank you very much, Sharia. Once again, I'm going to check your homework later and send it to you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Hopefully, we are going to discuss tomorrow 2, 3 and writing. Okay.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Thank you
Have a
very
great
much.
day, sir.
Bye.